Hi, welcome to Steve Chats Wrestling, hashtag SCW, the wrestling channel right here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Subscribe right now, leave any comments in the comments section, like and share the video as well. I've got 6 news stories for you based on WWE and TNA to get you started off your week in the right way. So let's get through them for you now. Going to be starting off with WWE's interest in buying TNA, an update on that for you now. Of course, it was noted over the weekend via DWM that Billy Corgan and TNA ownership. The New York Post ran a story based on that, which mentioned WWE and ROH parent company Sinclair Broadcasting were rumoured to have put bids in for the purchase of TNA Impact Wrestling. Dave Meltzer reported on the Wrestling Observer Radio that people very close to the situation have heard nothing on those rumours. Sinclair was involved with TNA talks months ago, and it's possible to have returned to negotiations, but that is essentially just because they wanted TNA's TV times for ROH. So nothing there actually on WWE, so it's very interesting to know. But of course, Dave Meltzer, he gets some things right, he doesn't get everything right, so let's see and let's keep an eye if there's any further developments that does come on this story. Like I said before, I can see from WWE's point of view that why they would want TNA, mainly for their videotapes more than anything, build up a lot of the top TNA talent that they've now signed because they want to make them creditable on their roster, including AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Eric Young, to name a few. But of course, they might want some of the TNA talent as well. I mean, could you imagine a broken Matt Hardy in WWE? Maybe a rival with Bray Wyatt. You know, I'm sure they'd want Jeff Hardy back. Would they see the likes of use for people like EC3, Drew Galloway? I mean, they did make the mistake of getting rid of Damien Sandow. We'd love to see him back in the WWE, but would WWE see it that way? I guess time will tell if the story develops any further. As for ROH, of course, for wanting TNA's TV times for the company, ROH, very good company, but of course they do need to expose themselves a bit more to make themselves perhaps a slightly more mainstream than what they are. So I can see why there would be interest from their side as well. Going on to TNA news then, it's been confirmed that Brandi Rhodes, who was the former WWE ring announcer Eden, has signed to wrestle for TNA's Knockouts division. It's very interesting stuff indeed. So she'll be wrestling for the company. I haven't seen her involved with the ring. I don't know much about her of an in-ring perspective, but be very interested to see how she will compete in the ring. Of course, being married to Cody Rhodes, you'd imagine that she would have a good trainer and pedigree to be actually pretty decent maybe in the ring at some point. So it'd be interesting to see how she gets some. The more interesting thing for me as well is this the first step as well as seeing Cody Rhodes in Impact Wrestling. Of course, for getting Brandi in there, that means that Cody will be hanging around there from time to time. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Cody signs at some point in the future, whether it be a part-time deal or even a full-time deal. So let's keep an eye and watch this space. Another former TNA wrestler, of course, just recently left WWE, Bubba Ray Dudley, appeared at Saturday's House of Hardcore event in Philadelphia this past week, and he cut a promo on Matt Hardy and teased showing up at Impact Wrestling back as Bully Ray. And he said, "How would you like me to show up at the Impact Zone?" Bubba asked Hardy as fans booed. "I've burned that place to the ground once and I'd do it again. I already put your boss through a table and I don't think I'd mind doing the same thing to your wife or your son." Now, personally for me, WWE dropped the ball there. I think they wasted the opportunity of making Bubba Ray Dudley a singles competitor under the Bully Ray style character. I think that he's definitely got something to give, and I think he was definitely a big asset in TNA as Bully Ray. And it wouldn't surprise me if he went back to TNA if personal honest, and I actually think he'd do a good job back there at the moment. And for me, TNA is getting stronger. They're not doing everything right, TNA, but you know what? I think that they're taking chances and the company's going in a good direction. And personally, for me, if they do stay on as TNA, I don't see why but Bully Ray couldn't go back, if you're asking me. But we'll move on to WWE news, and Randy Orton, it's been cleared to return the ring, full-term competition now. Orton was cleared on Tuesday. On or after Tuesday last week, he worked a WWE live event match and took a few bumps during the match against Bray Wyatt. He ended up winning that match though with an RKO. It was previously reported, of course, Orton did actually suffer a mild concussion in his match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which WWE expected him to be cleared in time to face Bray Wyatt at Backlash, but of course that didn't happen in the end, and they had to change plans then with Kane being involved with the match. So more of a news update, that one that Randy Orton now was cleared, so perhaps he could be facing Brock Lesnar again at the WWE live event this Saturday, which he was originally scheduled to do. I wonder if that will still go ahead. Would you want to put him back in the ring with the Beast so soon? I'm not so sure, but definitely, I mean, it looks like now Randy Orton could be facing Bray Wyatt definitely by the time No Mercy rolls around, which of course would be very interesting to see that roll around. Going on for NXT news, there has been a lot of talk of doing a major NXT live event at Madison Square Garden before the end of this year, and an NXT Takeover Boston event in early 2017. Now, WWE is planning on doing Takeover events in conjunction with WWE's Big Four events. Now, you could see it was going in this direction, of course, with the Royal Rumble. We've already had it with WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and we're about to get it with Survivor Series in Canada this year as well. It's much easier for the company to have sent out NXT Takeover ticket sales when they run venues in conjunction with major WWE events as well. And I think that this is definitely the way they're going to go. It makes a smart idea for me. It could even be the Big Five in the end, along with Money in the Bank, and you could see maybe one at Florida, sort of in between once a year as well. I could see them having 6 events and then having like once every 2 months. I think that's the direction NXT seems to be going in. So I'm fully on board with this. I think this is very exciting news for the NXT brand, and I've said it once, I've said it again. I think NXT could become its own major brand within a few years. But of course, at the moment it's the feeder ground, but this is certainly putting it in the right direction. Last but certainly not least, going to look at Eva Marie's suspension for the wellness policy. Of course, it's ended now, but she may not be returning to WWE programming immediately. Now, while Eva was away from the company, she's actually landed a role for an upcoming film called Inconceivable, which stars Nicolas Cage. Filming actually for the movie kicks off sometime in October, so if she does return to the company, it would only be for a short while before she would take time off again. There is the possibility that WWE could just keep her off until filming has wrapped up. Now, for me, that's exactly what I would do, because at the moment SmackDown doesn't need Eva Marie at the moment. Some people might disagree with that because she was on a major role beforehand, but WWE have moved on with their plans since the wellness policy suspension, and I think they would just carry on and then bring Eva Marie back, because when she comes back, then she can be almost a main player and almost in the role that she was again, and maybe she can make an impact on that SmackDown Women's Championship, because as much as most people hate her and don't want to see her as the champion, admit the heel heat would actually be very creditable and would go down pretty well, because you'd want to see people beat her. So I can see from WWE's point of view why they would want to keep her off TV and why they actually want to make her strong. But that's my feelings anyway. Let me know your feelings in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel right now, like and share the video as well. You're now up to date with all the latest news as well. The Raw preview as well is up for you now on the YouTube channel, as well as the latest podcast that I do, SCW, the wrestling podcast. What do wrestling fans want in 2016? Focusing on all the companies, WWE, NXT, as well as TNA, ROH, Lucha Underground, and seeing what the modern wrestling fan wants today. Is things outdated? Are they not? It's a pretty good podcast, I think, and I recommend you to check it out now. It's just over an hour long, so please check it out on the channel now. Give it a like and give it a share, and go on, let your friends know about it as well, because I'd like to make this as big as possibly could one day. So with your help, I'd be very, very grateful. But you'll be watching Steve Chats Wrestling, hashtag SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing that channel and choosing the video, and please subscribe.